As we head into Falcon Flight, this is probably the most boring level of the entire run. You do have an option for the very first room. If you've done any percent before, then you might be more comfortable doing 2 players. But because of how the camera pull works in this game, where it's harder to separate your 2 players across a given room, it is a lot safer if you just play it 1 player, and it's not that much slower. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like with 1 player, but you have the option to mess around with doing 2 players if you really want to. So we'll just be spamming shots with the TIE Interceptor as we work around the Star Destroyers. And that's just a very consistent method rather than trying to deal with the camera pull across this room. And then the rest of the level is going to be very straightforward. You can just be spamming shots and moving forward. The most important thing that we're going to deal with is the targeting with how it works in this game, because it's a little bit finicky to get used to. Like I mentioned in the tutorial on ITDS, you can be locked into an object that's in a room, and you have to travel a far enough distance away for you to unlock on that object and change to something else. But also, it's just better in general to be closer before you end up shooting any of your torpedoes. So in this case, we're going to get pretty close, and the hope is that when we slow down, 2 of them will show up as targetable, and then the other 2. If only one of them is popping up, that only one of your players has locked on to a target, if you shoot your torpedoes too early, then there's a chance that you just double target and both of them go to the same torpedo. So it's better, even if you're slowing down for a second, to wait for 2 of the targets to pop up. It's still faster overall than blanking, just because that means you have to shoot a whole extra torpedo. Same thing here. To clear these 4 targets. And then you'll notice here that there are these 2 pink objects, one that's directly in front of me and one to the right in this room. So this is an example where we have to get far enough away and close enough to the 4 targets that open up to the next room. We need to get close enough to that. Otherwise, we're just going to shoot our torpedoes and they're going to come all the way behind us and try and find these objects that we're locked onto. So we're going to wait quite a while so that we are no longer locked onto that and we can lock onto these targets. And in the case of these 4 targets, just because of how it works with the position you need to be in order to lock onto them, we're actually okay doing a staggered motion. So I shot the top left one with 1 player, and then as soon as that got destroyed, 2 more opened up, and then the final one on the top right will open up, and then we'll be clear and good to go. And then for the boulder in this game, it is way better than in TCS. The spin is not as aggressive, and also the way that the torpedoes work in this game means that you are way less likely to blank. So we're just going to go back and forth with each player. And that one is not going to hit, unfortunately. This is one of the faster boulders that I've seen. But as you can see, even with a bit of a faster boulder speed, that still wasn't all that bad. Now, as we're exiting Falcon Flight, you would typically have Wicket as your player 2 and Ghost Yoda as your player 1 from the previous level. Either way, you're going to drop your player 2 out. You could also do that at the end of Falcon Flight. And then you'll switch Ghost Yoda to the other player to make your way into Echo Base. That will make your player 2 Ghost Yoda, which is who we want to take into that level.